First of all, welcome to the channel and thank you for stopping by. Today is the day we finally have the official specs and information from KTM about the bike I keep saying is the 390 everyone's waiting for. But I may have been wrong, and we'll get to that in a minute. But yes, today is the day that KTM released all the information on the 390 Adventure R. This is the direct replacement for the bike that's been sold in North America for the past about 5 years. And it's been a very popular bike. But from the beginning, folks were saying, I wanted a little more off-road. Well, now we have a little more off-road. Or, well, we will in about a year. Let's take a look. All right, so far so good. Look at that. That's what we all do every weekend, right? All right. All right, indeed. Ooh, that hurts. I mean, base MSRP of $6,999. We're just going to round up here and say this is a $7,000 motorcycle where the SMCR and the Enduro R are both $5,500 motorcycles. Now, I did expect this one to cost more than the Enduro R would cost. And honestly, looking back at my video, I said $7,000 or $7,500. So it's not really that far off of what I was expecting. However, I said that thinking that the Enduro would be $7,000. So when they brought the Enduro in at a bargain basement incredible price, I kind of thought we were going to come in no higher than 6,500. I talked to a dealer just yesterday who was saying 5,800, which I thought was kind of low. But this right here, this base MSRP, I was not expecting that. Now, this is not to say the bike is not a good deal, but I certainly do believe that given that the platform is identical, well, nearly identical, for all three of the 390 bikes now, having a $1,500 premium seems very much severe. Now, absolutely, this is a off-road capable bike. This is absolutely a middleweight bike. But really, it's not a rally bike. It's not a rally-inspired bike. This is based on a road bike. Now, they've gone much farther than they managed to do with the original KTM 390 Adventure. But I'm sorry, we can still see absolutely the road bike roots underneath here. And that's not bad. There's nothing wrong with that. I am a firm believer in the KTM 390 platform. Many people are riding that bike in places I'm sure that the naysayers have said you can't, or the engineers never intended. And people will absolutely be able to ride this bike with its higher ground clearance in more off-road scenarios. I just don't think we're looking at a rally-inspired enduro bike. Must be great to keep your wheel up like that. This guy's saving money on rubber. I watched the video. The fellow barely ever has his wheel down. Now, this information is all mostly the same from what we went over previously with the 390 Enduro R until we get here to the bodywork. I love the look. If they nailed one thing, it was the look. I can't look at this bike without thinking that's a very nice looking bike, and it looks like I should hop on it and I should go ride some dirt. I should be climbing hills on this bike. They just did a great job with that. We're getting our TFT display. Fortunately, we're getting the large TFT display. I love the new headlight. We'll call that rally inspired. Windshield, it's not going to work. No KTM windshield has ever worked. All right, technical details. We do have a slightly different gear ratio. Again, we have slightly different wheelbase, a little bit longer. It's about 13 pounds heavier than the Enduro R, which, given the plastics, the larger screen, the cruise control mechanisms, and the entire windscreen, 13 pounds doesn't seem like a lot that they've added to the bike. Interestingly, we have a significantly larger, I believe it was 285 millimeters for the front disc on the Enduro. So it's good to see that we're going to be going with a larger, superior brake disc here. As a 390 Adventure owner, as someone who's been following this bike since the earliest prototypes, I love what they've delivered here. I can only make one real criticism, and that is the price is not competitive. When we look at the SMCR and when we look at the Enduro R, they're beyond competitive. They are fantastic. If you were looking to get into this class of motorcycle, the price is amazing. It's low. There's no other word to put it. But once you jump up to $7,000, I'm sorry, but when you look at the other two bikes in this segment, which are the Royal Enfield 450 and the CF Moto 450, MT or Ibex, depending on where you are in the world, this thing's expensive. It is over $1,000 more than the Royal Enfield, and it is a solid $500 more than the CF Moto. That's not competitive. I know that KTM's been producing this bike, or Bajaj has been producing this bike a lot longer. This motor is based on one that came out in 2013. We know it's dependable. We know it'll go to high miles. We know it'll have sufficient power to get you where you want to go. But price is important. And this price, they're essentially saying a premium. If you want to have a 390 Adventure R, we are charging you a premium for that. As far as I'm concerned, if you own a 390 Adventure, you know how good those bikes are. You're probably not balking at $7,000. But if you're going into showrooms, if you're shopping around, I think this bike is going to have an uphill battle, especially if anyone looks over at the Enduro R. I personally need the fairings. I need a windscreen, a third-party windscreen, obviously. But most people, I think you're going to be better off just purchasing the Enduro R. You're not getting, in my opinion, unless you want to ride on the highway, $1,500 here. Realistically, you get some protection from the wind and you get cruise control for $1,500. I am 100% sure that Jackson at Viridian Cruise will be offering cruise control for the SMCR and the Enduro R, and it will cost a lot less than $1,500. All right, I don't want this to sound too negative. I love the bike. I have a down payment on the bike. Oh, hang on one second. Let's see if that shows up or not. So while I was recording this, Mountain Motorsports in Sevierville, Tennessee, great people. They're the ones that rescued my 790 Adventure R. He says March. That is much earlier than we're expecting. March sounds pretty darn amazing. So back to the excitement here. The bike looks great. I have 100% confidence in Bajaj that the bike is going to work as well as the 390 Adventure that I've got almost 30,000 miles on. And I think Matt's over 30,000 miles. It's a reliable, dependable bike from a company I trust. I just feel that it's being sold by a company I don't trust, and I think they may have marked it up a little bit. That said, it's going to sell like hotcakes. They know it, and I'm sure that's the reason it's $7,000. All right. If you stuck around, I appreciate it, and take care.